I genuinely don't think there's ever a season where a Championship club doesn't believe they can get into the playoffs. Without doubt, if they win a couple of games in a row, they start looking at the players thinking, we're only this many points. If we do this and win this, we could potentially sneak into that 6th spot. So in this video, we're going to be ranking every single Championship team and their chances towards promotion this season in the Championship. For automatic promotion, for playoff promotion. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. If you're a fan of the Championship, please do hit that subscribe button. It would be very greatly appreciated. It takes 1 second to hit subscribe. And as I say, if you're a Championship fan, this is the place to be. Hit that subscribe button. So we have got 5 tiers. We've got you have to go up. One of the teams that just have to go up no matter what. Then the other one is you have to be in the mix. You have to be in with a shout of promotion come the end of the season. We've got then the outsider, where you think you've got to be in the mix, but you've got an outsider chance of getting into them playoffs. Then we've also got, can we make a playoff push, where you think we could potentially make a playoff push if this happens, if everything goes well, we get ourselves that playoff push, which is so many Championship teams. And then we've got give up. Just don't even bother thinking about anything to do with the playoffs, because you never know in the Championship. You think at the start of the season, if you start performing alright, you never know, you could be in the midst, because there's not a lot of ability, I don't think, between the teams, say, especially this season in the Championship, for example. Everybody from, I would say, Coventry downwards, from 5th downwards, there wasn't a huge amount. Obviously, there's a difference, there's a gap, but the gap is nowhere near as big as what it is then from Coventry to, I would say probably the top 3 in the league anyway, at least from Sheffield United, Leeds and Burnley. They were in a complete different ball game to the rest of the division, despite Sunderland getting promoted through the playoffs. If you're looking at it over the 46-game season, those 3 teams were so astronomically clear of everybody else in the division. As I say, from there downwards, I really don't think there's a huge amount of difference. Kind of anyone can beat anyone. They're all in very similar situations. So that makes you think if you're a mid-table Championship team, you've always got that outside chance of potentially sneaking into the playoffs. So as I say, we'll go through every single team and rate their chances. Now, Birmingham City is an interesting one, because you could honestly say you have to be in the mix. But I'm going to go, because I think a lot of people are honestly predicting Birmingham to be right up there. And if you look at the bookies and if you look at what everybody's saying, obviously we need to wait and see with the transfers. Well, I'm going to put Birmingham, actually no, you can't say. As a newly promoted team, I'm going to say outsider / you have to be in the mix. We need to see the transfer. If they go and splash a load of money and make really good signs, they've already signed Newman at the back, who looks like a very good defender. If they make more transfers, which are getting talked about, you could honestly argue that you say they have to be in the mix. We're going to go Birmingham as an outsider. One of them teams we know is going to be in and around it, and they could potentially get themselves promoted. Blackburn, I feel like Blackburn is like, they'll probably take a mid-table finish, but you never know. It's like, can we make a playoff push? Could we do it? Probably not. So Blackburn, I'm going to go into that playoff push category. And obviously they got very close last season in making that, and that was, again, you probably would have, if you were making the video this time last year, you would have said Blackburn, maybe even in the give up section. Potentially, maybe can we make a playoff push section, because they're kind of like a mid-table Championship team. So I'd kind of put Blackburn in that category. Bristol City, I think it's got to be the same category as Blackburn. Can we make a playoff? I wouldn't even put them as an outsider. I really think with obviously the loss of Liam Manning, the kind of atmosphere and the vibe at Bristol City right now isn't the best. Just had a very good season. I personally think they are going to drop off. So I'm going to say, can we make a playoff push? And I don't think it's going to be a very likely chance in a playoff push. Charlton, sorry, give it up. The Charlton ambition this season is to stay up in the Championship. No thoughts about playoffs, and I just don't think the squad has the quality to be anywhere near it. You can say they can maybe get into mid-table if they do really well, but in terms of looking at the players, getting 70 points that you might be looking at, 65, 70 points, I just don't see it happening. So for me, Charlton, give it up. Coventry City, it's got to be, you have to be in the mix. They've got to be in and around the playoff positions, or potentially even fighting for automatic promotion come the end of the season. Coventry absolutely have to be in the mix. Under Frank Lampard, they were very impressive. They've got some unbelievable talents in the team, like Jack Radoni. There's still got Ben Sheep, of course, as well. Then you've also got Bobby Thomas as well. There's some serious quality in that side, which is top Championship. As I say, they were the best of the rest in terms of the points totals, how close everybody else was below them. Coventry were the best in that in terms of finishing 5th. And yeah, under Frank Lampard, record was very impressive, and I expect them to be up there. Again, they have to be in the mix, in my opinion. Derby County, I think it would be harsh to say give up, because you look at what John Eustace done at Blackburn under very difficult circumstances. He got them in the playoffs when he left. So Derby, again, it's very unlikely, but we're going to say, can we make a playoff push? Unlikely. They'll probably take a mid-table finish, let's be real. But you never know. You never know. They could be in and amongst it, and in terms of going for 6th position, but they'd have to do a lot of transfer business before then, and they'd have to really exceed expectations on top of that as well. Hull City, I'm going to have to give up. I'm sorry, I just don't see Hull City getting anywhere near even thinking about an opportunity to get into the playoffs right now. I really don't. We'll see who they sign and what they kind of do in the transfer window. But I think for right now, I just have to say Hull City, give it up. First team where we've got to say you have to go up, it's got to be Ipswich. If you're talking about pressure for any team in the Championship this season in terms of expectations and the highest expectations, it's Ipswich. It looks like Kieran McKenna should be staying, so as far as I'm aware, Brentford are going to be going for maybe Keith Andrews as their manager. I mean, it looks like Kieran McKenna should stay at Ipswich, and they've already got a squad that's well good. If you look at the Championship players, like the Championship All-Star players they've got Sammy Schmodix, top scorer a couple of seasons ago. Jack Clark, unbelievable. Jaden Philogene, Amari Hutchinson. The attacking talent they've got going forward, they can just sign a number 9, an out-and-out 9, obviously, to replace Delap, who's going to start week in, week out. Absolutely no question. They have to go up. Leicester City. Now, I'm not going to say you have to be... It depends on the points deduction, of course. If they don't get the points deduction, I'd say, I put them in, you have to be in the mix, or maybe even you have to go up. Leicester City have got to be considered as an outsider with the 12-point deduction. I personally think they will be in the mix, but I don't think there's like huge pressure where they have to be in the mix with that 12-point deduction, because they have it kind of not an excuse, but it's definitely something that you've got to think about and consider when you're putting Leicester in your final predictions if they do go on to get that 12-point deduction. I'm going to put them in outsider. Maybe I should put them in you have to be in the mix, because I've been putting them in the playoffs still, even though they could get the points deduction. I still think they'll get it even with the points deduction, in my opinion. Middlesbrough, I'm going to say you have to be in the mix. Honestly, I'm going to move Leicester up as well. I think Middlesbrough have to be in the mix. They've got to be in the mix to the playoffs at the end of the season. If they don't get anywhere near the playoffs, it's an absolute failure. Middlesbrough club that are a top-end Championship club, and they have to be in the mix come the end of the season. And as I say, even with Leicester, I do think with the 12-point deduction, I think they should be in the mix. Millwall, I'm not going to say you have to be in the mix. That's maybe a bit too higher expectations. I think they're definitely an outsider for the playoffs. I think they've got a really good opportunity. We'll see what happens with Tanganga. I'm seeing a release clause of 1.2 million, which sounds absolutely crazy. If they lose him, doesn't help them in the slightest. They've got Ivanovic who bags goals going forward. They definitely need to score more goals, and as an overall side, they need more contributions in terms of players contributing with goals. Ivanovic looked good towards the back end of the season. They're always very, very solid at the back, and they'll always be in and around it, in my opinion. Millwall will. Norwich City, I'm going to go outsider again for them, because they're a team that's got a lot of question marks with them in terms of personnel, in terms of Borja Sainz and Sargent, in terms of sales. They will bring in players and they will spend well, in my opinion. Liam Manning's a very good coach as well. I think Norwich are definitely outsiders for the playoffs and will really fancy their chances of having a go at the playoffs this season, in my opinion, under the new management. Oxford United, I'm going to have to say give it up. I don't think they have any ambitions and any thoughts to really get in the playoffs right now. I think to consolidate in the Championship and get a comfortable mid-table finish is definitely on their minds as a kind of number one objective. We'll see, but I don't see Oxford United being anywhere near the playoffs, in my opinion, with Gary Rowett. He was a very good manager, by the way, but in terms of, I just don't see Oxford scoring enough goals and being creative enough and being solid enough at the back and just a whole combination to really have any thought of a playoff push, in my opinion. By the way, this can we make a playoff push? It's like a very, very, very unlikely chance of a playoff, but you have a half an eye on it. Not even half. You have like an eighth of an eye on it. That's how much we're talking. Portsmouth, outside. I'm not going to say outsiders, but I think they're a dark horse. I genuinely think if Portsmouth make some good signings, they're a dark horse. When you got Fratton Park behind you, I can honestly see Portsmouth doing very well this season. If you look, if they can start the season well, which they started that season so poorly, the energy around there could be so positive. They're fully behind the manager, so much to be positive about. You never know. If they get things right, you can always fancy a chance at maybe nipping into that playoff position. So I'm going to say Portsmouth in can we make a playoff push? Obviously, I still think very unlikely, but you never know. You never know. Preston, for me, give up. Like, mid-table Championship team at best. Don't think the signings that have been made have really filled me with too much confidence. I personally would say give it up completely. And as a QPR fan, I'm honestly in the category where it's just like give up. But we're going to be making a point with Julian Stefan. And I'm going to put us in can we make a player push. For the record, I do not think we are making a player push in the slides. I think we'll probably end up in mid-table with the new manager who comes in. We obviously need to see what signings we're going to make and who's going to be leaving in that. You never know. We always can kind of go on them runs where we can pick up a few good results in a row, then you always got an eye on your players. As a QPR fan, you can be 10 points off a player. I've seen it all the time. We win a couple games and you go, we're in form, we're only like 8 points off the playoffs. If we win this against this team, we're only 5 points off, and then we're in range. Then you think, oh, we can make a playoff push. It never happens. It never happens. We've had seasons where we have actually been very good at one point. We were like second in 21-22 season under Mark Warburton. Absolutely fell away. I just don't see it happening, but you never know. You never know. I'm going to say positive as a QPR fan and say, can we make a playoff push? As I say, very unlikely. Sheffield United, you have to say you have to be in the mix. We don't know what's happening with Chris Wilder. Talk about him potentially getting sacked, which is crazy considering he got 92 points without the deduction. Sheffield United have to be in and around it. They're going to spend a bit of money as well. They're going to have to replace the players that have gone out from loan. They might lose Harmer. You might even be an outsider genuinely. But Sheffield United, I think they have to be in the mix come the end of the season. Sheffield Wednesday, just give it up. Right, what's going on with Chansiri, the embargo they've got? I'm seeing that Chansiri is now ordering Danny Rose to come back from his holiday, from his off season, to get back into Sheffield Wednesday to work after not paying him. What a disaster. Genuinely, what a disaster. And Sheffield Wednesday, I just can't see him doing anything this season, in my opinion. Southampton, I'm going to say you have to go up. I really do think they've got the personnel and the quality to go up. I know they got 12 points last season, but I still do think they'll be right up there come the end of the season. They've got some quality players in that side, and they've got a quality coaching will still. I really do think Southampton have to be in and around it come the end of the season. Now, if it's not the automatic promotions, I think they'll be in the playoffs, and I think it's in a situation where there's not absolute pressure where it's like they have to go up, but being a team that's coming down with parachute payments, seeing the gap between the Championship and the Premier League, Southampton aren't going to lose a huge amount of players, and they are gaining players that will come back from loan in top Championship players like Shea Charles and Ronnie Edwards. Like, I think they have to be in and around it come the end of the season. I really do think they have to be up there. So I'm going to say Southampton, you have to go up. Stoke City, give it up. Give it up. I don't even care. You can be positive as you want about Stoke. Don't even make yourself believe it, because you'll end up finishing lower mid-table, because it always happens. You might even get relegated, who knows. But under Mark Robbins, I don't think that'll happen. But give it up. But you never know. I'm borderline for that, because I think the reason why I would put Stoke and can make a player push is because of Mark Robbins, but it's Stoke. It's Stoke. I just don't see it happening. Swansea City, I'm going to say outsider to the playoffs, and there's a lot of good things to like about Swansea. They've just brought in Cameron Burgess as well, by the way, from Ipswich. What a signing that is. Like, these guys are not messing about. They finished the season strongly. Swansea have a genuine, kind of opportunity and potential to potentially get themselves into them playoffs this season, in my opinion. So Swansea, I'll be very positive about with the signings that you're making and the kind of overall energy at the club. There's a lot to like about Swansea this season, I think. West Brom, I'm going to go outsider. I'm borderline there with you have to be in the mix. I'm going to go outsider, though. And they've got to be in and around it. I think them and Middlesbrough are in similar situations, and I put them in two different tiers, which kind of doesn't make sense. They're kind of borderline for both. I don't want to put too many teams in you have to be in the mix, because that's already top six right there. So I'm going to put West Brom in the outsider category, right at the top, with them and Birmingham as the top. There's a lot of teams that really could be fighting this season. Watford, I'm going to say, can we make a playoff push? / give up. No, give up. No, give up Watford. Don't think you're going to be getting the playoff this season. I look at these teams there and I think, are you going to be able to get ahead of them? And I just don't think you are. Neither of some of these teams are, but in can we make a playoff push as well, to be fair. But Watford, new management, could go drastically wrong, could go very well, could go one of two ways. They've been pretty busy in the transfer market. I like some of the signings they've made in Kipriano especially. Potentially I could put them in playoff push, but we're going to put in give up. Wrexham, it's got to be the question, can we make a playoff push? And if they make a lot of signings, which they probably will do, I'd probably up them then to outsider. It's a big step up for Wrexham, who did very well in League One, were very solid defensively. It's a big step up to the Championship, this, isn't it? Especially it's a big step up to the Championship, let alone then competing with the top-end Championship clubs that I've got here. And I think, can Wrexham make that big of a leap? I just don't think they can. Maybe I'm being harsh, but I don't think they'll be able to do it. So I'm going to put in, can we make a player push, due to the fact that we've got so many questions about Wrexham. What are they actually going to do? And how is their team going to look at the end of the transfer window? So right now, you've got to say, can we make a playoff push? But they'll probably still take survival. A season of stability in the Championship will definitely do them no harm whatsoever. So yeah, that's what I think about that. So let me know what you think about all that list in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Please do hit that subscribe button. If you're new around here, please do help me out. If you watch this point, you may as well hit that subscribe button. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.